Alright, so I understand that Newbie's Guide and Super Battle Road are not names that would typically go together, but it's the name of my guide series and Super Battle Road is a lot easier than it used to be, so let's just all keep in mind that this is endgame content and you will need a strong box of characters to do these. Some characters that are traditionally strong may not be good in this mode and vice versa. But with that out of the way, welcome to the Intermediate's Guide to Dokkan Battle. This is the series where we take a look at a concept in Dokkan and break it down into a simple and thorough explanation. I'm WafflesTheAsianYenbear, and let's get started. So Super Battle Road requires two important things: proper planning and proper play. So we're going to be breaking this down into two videos. Today we're talking about everything that goes into preparing for Super Battle Road, and then next week I'll actually do two Super Battle Roads on screen and walk you through how to manage your rotations, enemies, and items. And as always, the timestamps are on the screen and in the description, but today we're going to start with a quick overview of what Super Battle Road actually is, then we'll transition into what the general strategies you should be using are, the kinds of characters you should be bringing and why, before finishing up with what items you should take and where to get them. So first, what is Super Battle Road really? Well, essentially it's just a challenging mode where you have to do 3 to 4 fights in a row with 2 to 5 enemies each. After beating one of those fights, you go back to the map and start the next fight at turn 1 again. The enemies hit hard with both normal and super attacks. They also have high HP, so they're unlikely to be one-shot and usually take 1 to 3 turns to take down, depending on your team. You're limited to only the 8 items you bring, and if you get knocked out, you lose the run and you have to restart. Now, each Super Battle Road has its own restrictions, usually either type or category. For the Super or Extreme class stages at stage 11 and stage 12, you will need a team with all 5 types. Each block of 10 stages comes with its own LR you can earn through completing all the stages or through certain missions. While the physical kid Gohan is outdated, the Int Goku is usable and the AGL Goku and Bulma is pretty decent. We also got the new Goku and Gohan LR with the new Super Battle Road stages on JP, although it isn't on global yet as of recording this video, although I do expect that will be coming soon. In addition, you can earn Dragon Stones and a currency called Victory's Light that can be used to purchase Kais in the Baba shop. If you feel that your box is up to the challenge, it's definitely worth doing. Now I can't cover exactly what units you should be taking for all 40 stages in this one video because new units come out all the time that are useful for this mode and that would just take forever, so instead we're going to talk a little more generally, and if you guys want me to cover each category, I can do those in separate videos in the future. So the first characters you should be bringing, and really what should kinda be the default, are your tanks. Units that reduce damage, have really high defense, or units that dodge. Every enemy that you face in this mode is able to super attack you. That means you could be taking 2 to 3 super attacks per turn. You're going to be taking a lot of damage even from the normal attacks, so units that can tank those hits for you are immensely valuable. In this mode, having a high defense stat is more important than having a good attack stat. When it comes to units that dodge, try to make sure they have at least a reliable chance to dodge. I would say 70% is a good threshold. If a unit has 50% or less, work under the assumption that they are not going to dodge and make sure that they're bringing something else to the table as well. When it comes to defense stacking units, you want to leave those at home. Each round of Super Battle Road is relatively short and you won't have enough time to stack before it resets for the next fight. After that, stunners and sealers are super helpful. You're going to want to wear the enemies down one by one, but while you're doing that, you need to keep the other enemies from super attacking and killing you. If you can stun those units, they're effectively off the board for a turn or two. That's why good stunners are some of the best units in this mode. For example, Tech Raditz gets a guaranteed stun when you're facing 2 or more characters, which makes him incredible here. While stunning is chance-based, sometimes you're just going to have to keep trying until luck is on your side. Super Battle Road does not cost any stamina, so just keep trying and making little adjustments until you get it. I would say try to have at least 2 good stunners if you can, so you can have 1 on each rotation. If not, I would sub in some sealers, but you do need to be careful with that. While they can remove the immediate threat of super attacks, you're still going to be taking normal attacks which still do a lot of damage in this mode. After that, healer units like Int Gotenks and Ghosts can also be pretty darn helpful. You really need to manage your item usage well, which means you want to avoid being forced to heal if possible. I would not be bringing a healer character if that's all they're going to be bringing to the table, unless their healing is just ridiculously good and they won't just be one shot, but it is something that you should be looking for when you're team building. And then 2 honorable mentions here are attack all units and my personal favorite, units that lower enemy attack. While I personally don't like using attack all units in Super Battle Road just because they generally don't sync up very well with the way I like to play the mode, they can be valuable because, like the name suggests, they're able to attack all the enemies at once. They opt for wearing down all the enemies simultaneously instead of focusing down and taking out your enemies one by one. Many of them are a bit weak defensively, so if you're going this route, you're going to need to protect them. Now you guys may have heard me mention Super Battle Road cheese in a few of my videos, and this next type of character is usually what I'm referring to. Units that lower attack can make this mode a piece of cake if you have enough of them and are able to survive the first few turns. Essentially, you bring at least 2, preferably 3 or more units that lower attack on their super attack. You then debuff the enemies so their attacks aren't doing very much to you, and while that happens, you take down the enemies one by one. This playstyle struggles a bit when there are large numbers of enemies, but is able to get through battles with 2 or less pretty easily. While most units with his ability have it in their super attack, a select few units like STR Omega Shenron have it in their passive for all enemies, and those can also be really helpful. There's also a few that have it in their leader skill, which can work out, but it will also take you a very long time per run. If you decide to run this, you're looking for units that debuff by at least 20%, if not more. Overall, you're looking for units that can fill more than one of these roles at a time. However, if a unit is just really good at one role, it still may be worth bringing to your team. You're going to have to go through your box and figure out what strategy works best for you, and I'll leave a few team building resources in the description to help you out there. But let's move on to items. Essentially, the general guideline is that you should take 2 items for healing and 2 for defense. Now, I've had success adjusting that ratio depending on what my team actually consisted of. For example, if you have healing built in, you may be able to go with 1 more defensive item instead of an extra healing item. If you pick 2 healing items, you've essentially got 4 item heals, that's 2 copies of each item, any healing from your Dokkan attack, which you generally get 1 per run, sometimes 2, and any healing from units you have. Now, because we want to make the most of our slots, our healing items should be doing more than just healing us. So some good items to consider are Android 8, as he heals 70% of your HP and buffs your unit's defense for 50% for 2 turns. We like items that last for more than 1 turn as it keeps your overall item usage down. You can get copies of him from stage 1 of the Fight Against Despair story event, or from Z Hard of Bulma's battle prep whenever that comes around. Bulma Future lets you recover 70% of your HP, and instead of buffing your defense, she buffs your attack by 25% for 2 turns. And I will say that buffing defense is usually a bit more valuable in this mode, but this can still be helpful. She also comes from the Fight Against Despair story event in stage 12 and Z Hard of the Bulma's battle prep event. Princess Snake heals 55% of your HP and reduces the damage you receive by 30% for 1 turn. Usually damage reduction is going to do you a little bit better than increasing your defense, so she is a bit of a stronger item here. While of course it would be better if it lasted 2 turns, that's going to help you survive the first turn while hopefully leaving you at a decent amount of health so you can continue on. The easiest place to get her is the Baba Shop, but you can also get her from stage 5 of the Nappa event. They drop if you fight Gauze and Mez, the red and blue guys that live on Snake Way. They also drop on the Z Hard stage of Bulma's battle prep. The item Frog also deserves a mention here as it recovers 70% of your HP and changes int spheres to tech spheres. I would really only use this one if you have a team that struggles for ki. You can get this from stage 8 of the Face Off with the Fearsome Ginyu Force event, the one where you grind AGL Piccolo, and you can also find him on hard, not Z hard difficulty for Bulma's battle prep. And we want to avoid Sensu Beans and Dendes because they're really only healing you and you need to make the most out of your item slots. On the defensive front, you have my favorites and the ones I always recommend bringing, Whis and Icarus. Whis reduces damage received by 40% for 2 turns, and the main way I get them is from the Baba Shop, but you can also farm them on stage 13 of the Resurrection F event, although you need to use keys for that one since it hasn't come back in a long time. You can also find him on the hard stage of Bulma's battle prep. Icarus is really similar, except he reduces damage by 35% for 2 turns. You can get him from the Baba Shop and from stage 4 of the Nappa event. You can also get it from stage 2 of the Tree of Might, stage 7 of the Hero Extermination Plan event, and Z Hard difficulty of Bulma's battle prep. If you run both of these, you're gonna get 8 turns of damage reduction if you're not running Princess Snake as well, which can really make a big difference, especially while you're getting your stuns and your debuffs off. Other than that, you can also run Marin, who reduces all opponents' attack by 25% for 3 turns. 3 turns is great, and this can work well in combination with a team that uses the lowering attack cheese, and you can get her from Leave It to Us, the event where you can farm the physical trunks and Goten. She can also drop from the normal difficulty in Stage 5 of the Magical Girls Fighters event, and from the board in Resurrection F stages. She's also on the hard stage in Bulma's Battle Prep. Nurse Chi-Chi is also a popular one, as she reduces enemy attack and defense by 74% for 1 turn. That's really going to reduce the amount of damage you take for the turn, but I personally don't love this one because it only lasts for the 1 turn. You can get her from stage 1 of the Baby Saga final event and from the Z hard stage of Bulma's Battle Prep. Shamo is another popular item you could take, as it lowers enemy attack and defense by 30% for 2 turns. You can get him from stage 1 of Defeat the Legendary Super Saiyan, the Family Kamehameha event, or from Z hard in Bulma's Battle Prep. Ghost Usher and King Yama are also worth mentioning. The main way to get these is from the Baba Shop, but you can get Ghost Ushers from these 6 events on screen, and King Yama from stage 6 of the Ultimate Android Saga and stage 11 of the Hero Extermination Plan event. Both of them are also on Z hard of Bulma's Battle Prep. Ghost Usher would delay all attacks for 1 turn, and King Yama reduces damage by 50% for 1 turn. You should be able to find most, if not all, of these items in the Baba Shop, but sometimes it's more efficient just to farm them from the stages. Now, which enemies should you be taking out first? How should you manage your rotations? Well, those are good questions for another time, and that other time is exactly 1 week from now in our next Intermediates Guide to Dokkan Battle, as I take you through 2 Super Battle Road runs. Until then, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you consider checking out my other newbies guides in the playlist on screen and subscribing for more guides and analyses in the future without the standard YouTube filler. All that being said, I hope you have a good day, good week, good life, and some happy summons. Goodbye.